A few weeks ago, I successfully went from last to first against the 110% AI around Monaco. However, it was during a full-length race. Obviously, overtaking around Monaco is tough, but I had 78 laps to get to the front. So, that got me wondering, can I go from last to first with only a 50% race distance? Well, today we're gonna try it. I booted up a 50% race in Qatar against the 110% AI, and we're gonna see how high up the order we can make it. Okay, here we are. So I played around with a couple of the strategy options. The team originally wanted a two-stop, but I think we're gonna go softs to hards. It's gonna be a lot of wear on the softs after 11 laps, but I think that's probably the best way to go. So, we'll see how this works out. Starting from the back is tough, dude. There's always a lot of chaos down into turn one. So we need to avoid getting caught up in that and make up as many places as possible on the opening laps, because we're only going to have like 20 or so laps to get to the front. It's not a lot of time. Okay, here we go. We've got the tires nice and warm, parked up at the very back of the grid. Here we are, 5 red lights coming on, and we are racing for 29 laps in Qatar. We got a really nice launch off the line. Instantly going to be looking up the inside into turn one. It's a bit blocked by some traffic. Around the outside we go. Through the first corner, side by side with Ocon. Stuck behind Hulkenberg and Stroll, but we might have a chance at a run on Stroll here. Going to dump the battery down the straight. Up the inside we go. This will be a double overtake into the right-hander, up to P13. And we can definitely make another move into the hairpin down the inside on 2 cars, getting Russell as well. That's up to P11. That is the perfect start. It's a little different this time around. Time is of the essence. We don't have that many laps to get to the front, so we have to make as much progress as quickly as we can. We're going to be close enough for a move on Alonso down the inside into the final corner. That's up into P10 into the points on lap 1. I'm pretty sure that's Lando leading the race. Both the McLarens are already kind of starting to pull a gap to the rest of the field. So the longer this race goes on, the more Lando will extend that gap, and the more we're going to have to work to catch up to him. I think we're close enough for a move on Behrman once again into the final corner. He kind of backs out on the outside line. That's us up into P9. So only 1 overtake on lap 2. We really need to get a move on here. We got a good run through these right-handers. It's going to be a little far back, but we're going to force our way down the inside on Gasly into the hairpin up to P8. And we've got a nice train of cars ahead. So once we get within DRS here, we should be picking these guys off left and right. We're a little too far back to go for a move into the final corner, but we do have the DRS on Sainz ahead. We're a little bit low on battery. We've used a lot of ERS on the opening laps to make these couple of moves, but we have the DRS. We've got the slipstream. We're going to send it down the inside on the Williams into turn 1. Still side by side with Carlos Sainz. We've got the outside for the next corner, more traction through the corner, and that's up to P7. That was perfect. Whoever is at the front of this train is a little bit slow. We've had no problem at all catching back up to this group of cars, so we'll definitely be close enough for a move on Hamilton into the first corner. Looks like Hamilton might be going for a move on Tsunoda. It's gonna be sketchy, but we'll go down the inside once again into the first corner, side by side with Hamilton. Again, we've got the outside. For the next turn, we can pull ahead on exit up to P6, and we might actually be close enough for a move on our teammate. We need a good run through these double right-handers. We're a little bit far back, but we're going to try to squeeze our way down the inside into the hairpin up to P5. 2 moves in a couple of corners. Yeah, Leclerc and Antonelli are both on the mediums, so that's why we've been able to catch up so quickly. We'll definitely be within the DRS of Leclerc here. 0.6 is the gap to the Ferrari, but we do have the DRS. We've got the slipstream. We're slowly reeling him in. It's going to be a bit ambitious, but once again, down the inside we go into turn 1, still side by side with Leclerc. Again, we've got the outside, and again, we can make it stick up to P4. The softs are so much faster. We've already dropped Leclerc by 7/10. We're already within the DRS of Antonelli, but I don't think we'll be close enough on this lap. We'll have to wait one more. We've definitely got some pace here. This is one of my favorite tracks to drive. It's super satisfying when you really get into a groove, and I think we're doing just that. We should get Antonelli on this lap. Here we go. We've got the DRS on to lap number 8, and once again, we're gonna send it down the inside. This time cleanly ahead of the Mercedes, up onto the podium on lap 8, and it's just the 2 McLarens ahead. 4 seconds is the gap to Piastri. So I can only assume that McLaren is on the same strategy as us. They're both on the softs. I assume they're going to be switching to the hards at some point. So it's really going to come down to pace. We've got 7 seconds to Lando, 4 to Piastri. Really going to have to kick it into gear. Let's see, we've got 61% on the front left. We still got 2 laps to go before the pit window opens, so we're going to have to be a little cautious on the tire wear. And also with the battery, we've used a lot of ERS, so we're going to have to go to no deploy into the corners and try to charge it up a little bit. Okay, we've taken a second off of the McLarens, so we are faster at the moment. I assume their tires are dying off too, but ours are probably not in good shape either. Oh, go, yeah, yeah, 76% on the front left. Definitely coming in this lap. I think we're almost at puncture territory on that front tire. So we'll be on the hards to finish out the race, but we're going to have a lot of work to do. We still have 6 seconds to Lando. So we really gotta keep pushing. All right, well, that's been a pretty solid first stint. Up onto the podium, pitting on lap 11. So onto the hards, we'll finish out the race on this compound. Into the pits we go. Lando's just ahead, also switching tires. We might actually hold him up in the pits. They have to wait to release the McLaren. So we might have just shaved a second off of our gap to Lando. Well, we'll find out once we get up to speed and the gaps even out. But I think that was absolutely perfect timing for us. And terrible time for McLaren. Yeah, 3.5 seconds to Lando. So we definitely just gained a second or 2. We are on the same strategy as the McLaren, so I'm not sure what our pace is going to be looking like when we're on the hards. But we should still technically be a little bit faster. We were faster on the softs, so hopefully we can keep up that trend. But we're going to have to see where Piastri comes out. Okay, moment of truth. Piastri has done a stop. He is towards the end of the pit lane. We'll see if we can get out in front. There he is on the pit lane exit into turn 1. We're going to be side by side with the McLaren around the outside, closing the door on Piastri. And that is huge. We're essentially still P2, and we don't have to waste any time fighting Piastri. So we've let the gap to Lando slip just a little bit. 4 seconds is the gap to the lead McLaren. However, we have been charging up the ERS as much as possible, so kind of a trade-off there. But now we have a lot more to utilize on the battery. Lando's AI, especially when he's in the lead or in clear air, is very strong. We've got it down to 3 seconds, and there's plenty of laps to go, but it's going to be a tough job to chase him down. He's definitely pretty quick on these new tires, so hopefully we can start to consistently reel him in. Let's see here. Purple in Sector 1, green in Sector 2. I think this will be, yes it is, a fastest lap of the race for Verstappen. We've dropped Piastri by 3 seconds already on lap 17. So we definitely have the pace. We just have to make sure we don't make any little mistakes. We need to keep up this pace, and eventually we'll get to Lando. Only 2 seconds to Lando now. We've dropped Piastri completely. 4 seconds to him. This has been a very nice run through here. So satisfying, this track. Okay, we're, I think, really in the groove. We're in flow state right now. Oh, we got a yellow flag here. Someone's off the track. But anyway, the major key here...
So let me give you a major key.
...is to get within a second of Lando. We need to be within DRS before the final couple laps, because I would imagine we might start battling with him if we get past. So we just really need a couple laps of cushion to make sure we can stay ahead. On to lap number 22. We've dropped the gap now to 1.7, so below the 2-second mark to Lando. So we are consistently still reeling him in very slowly. I'm just hoping we have enough time left in this race to make it happen. Okay, 1.3 now to Lando, so we gained a couple tenths on that last lap, but we're very low on battery. We gotta start managing that. But as of now, I think we're looking pretty good. Yeah, we definitely need more on the battery. I don't want to use all of it to catch Lando and then just have him re-overtake on the next lap. We need a little bit of cushion to fight with. Oh, we're just on the edge of DRS, just below a second to the McLaren around the final corner onto lap 25. And we do have the DRS finally on Lando. So it's going to take a lap or two. But this is going to be a big help. We're going to be reeling him in fast now. Yeah, 7 tenths is the gap now. We got plenty on the battery. So we got to wait for the right moment, the right opportunity. But we might be close enough for a move pretty soon. All right, here we go. Around the final corner. And on to lap 26. Not the best exit out of that last corner, but we're dumping the battery. We've got the DRS. We've got the slipstream as well. We're reeling in the McLaren. Looking for a move on the inside. Lando defends. Around the outside we go. Way too deep on the brakes. Lando back in front. Around the first corner. But we are definitely on his ass now. There's not much time left in this race. Lap 26 of 29. We're going to have to try that move around turn 1 again. We were a little far back to make it stick. We had to switch to the outside. But I think we can make that work as long as we're a bit closer on the straight. We just need a good run through this left-hander and a good run into the final corner. Going to be early on the brakes and early on the power on exit. There we go, around the last corner onto lap 27. We've got less on the battery this time around, but we've still got the DRS. And we're reeling in Lando a lot faster this time around. He's defending the inside to the outside. We go up into first place. Around turn 1, a clean move, and that's P1 on lap 27, but Lando's still right behind, so we have to keep defending the rest of this race. Yeah, Lando's sticking with us. Only 5 tenths is the gap, so he will have DRS down the straight. Hopefully we have enough battery to fight it with. That was a great run through the last couple corners. We've got 1 to go, and then Lando will have the DRS down the straight. Good run through the final corner as well. Great exit. Dumping the battery. 6 tenths. I think we should be safe for now. All it takes is one little micro mistake, and Lando is going to be all over us. He's still sitting in that 5 tenths range. Definitely comfortably within the DRS. We just have to make sure we keep up the pace. Here we go into the final corner. Lando has one more chance with the DRS to make something happen onto the final lap of the race. We've got a decent amount on the battery. Hopefully it's enough to stay ahead of the McLaren, but he's reeling us in the slipstream. We're going to stick to this outside line so we can close the door around turn 1 on Lando, keeping P1 on the final lap. And hopefully that's enough to seal the deal and take home the win. The fronts are starting to die off a little bit, but we should have this in the bag as long as we don't make any mistakes or go wide through any of these corners. This should be a successful last to first. Just this last section of high-speed corners through Sector 3, trying to keep it within track limits. The fronts are definitely starting to feel the wear. 1 quarter to go, 5 tenths is the gap to Lando around the final corner on the final lap. And that is last to first against the 110% AI. 50% race distance. And we can make all the overtakes we need. That is that is crazy. I've got to say, Qatar might be one of my favorite tracks. It's really satisfying. Like when you're just locked in and you got really good pace, there's nothing like it. Well, there we go. We've done it in Monaco with a 78 lap race, and now we've done it with 29. Nice.